They chillin' in Alaska, swimming in Atlanta, vultures out in Beemore, they Carolina, they wildin' in Chicago, howlin' down in Big D, Mile High in Denver, that Tallahassee pride is deep, they lunchin' in Vancouver, Desperado shootin', the renegades on the loose, hyenas lootin', gold out in QC, who higher than them sparrows, the Furies swooping in divine order for the pharaohs, Indy on the rise, the Sharks about to mash, Gladiators, Knights and Aztecs about to clash. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. Now welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. First and 10, I'm so aggressive. The end zone, the game plan, no pressure. They gotta pay me how they measure me. You know these haters on my back like the referee. You know I'm in it to win it. Game day, I'm about my business, I gotta get it. So I'm all about my ends. And these non-stop wins. They can't touch us, can't touch us. We turning up on these suckers. You know the D brought the rockets. Cause we tighter than the huddles. Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. And welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party. Third down is going down. Round the pound, oh, we gotta air them out. That's why I gotta hit the route. Hit the flat if I catch it, then I'm out. What the inches gotta take. YOLO, just no pump fake. So tighten up and hit the power high. The audible and draw them off sides.
Irvine, Ryan Michaels gets a block midfield. Ryan Michaels, he could be gone. Trying to be comfortable, and he will not. Touchdown, Houston.
Welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see the all-pro party. Now welcome to my all-pro party. Baby girl, this an all-pro party. The SFL is an all-pro party. They came out to see an all-pro party.
Jay Yola shakes it. Oh my goodness, and Yola gets away. Jay Yola on the first play for Tallahassee is going to score again. Left side, Odom gets away. Odom breaks another tackle. Ash Odom, you've got to be kidding me. Big chase, 10-5 touchdown! Oh my word!
Tonight, from David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Carolina Skyhawks go after history to try to start 4-0 for the first time. The challengers are the St. Louis Gladiators, who sack the quarterback and pick him off too every chance they get. It's an Eastern Conference heavyweight fight to end Week 4. St. Louis and Carolina starts right now on Fan Night. Welcome into David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Kevin Irvine, alongside Stephen Mullenax. How you doing, Stephen?
Doing great, Cam. Wonderful to be here in Carolina and get to see this great matchup between two of the hottest teams in the SFL right now. Carolina Skyhawks with a 3-0 record, undefeated on the season facing off against the St. Louis Gladiators at 2-1. These are two traditionally struggling franchises here that are seeing early success. We'll see which one continues their streak tonight.
The fans wanted it, and the fans got it. And we're headed down to midfield for the coin toss. next on Twitch TV.
I'll be gentle. You ready to go?
The Gladiators will make the selection. What is the call?
We want heads.
St. Louis selects heads.
It is tails.
Carolina wins the toss. Jacques Ulundula wants the ball.
You select to receive.
So it'll be the Skyhawks out on the field first on fan night. And that means the St. Louis kicker, Matthew Martin, will do the honors. The ball is on the tee. The hand is in the air. St. Louis, kick it. We're underway. From past the 20 out to the 26-yard line, the return by Cameron Walsh. And out comes Ulundula. Carolina in the beautiful blue and red uniforms with white numbers, blue and red trim. St. Louis in the gorgeous silver pants, white jerseys, and gold helmets with green trim. First down and 10 at the 26. Two in the backfield with Ulundula, the former Shark. Three receivers, handoff Francis. Francis will not get away. Good tackle in the open field by number 93, Kilroy Kalua.
Well, a good job there by St. Louis, able to shoestring tackle there the running back A.J. Francis. This is a Carolina Skyhawks team that ranks 6th in run offense, averaging 114 yards per game on the ground so far this season.
Second and 9 at the 27. Ulundula will pass for the first time tonight, stepping up in the pocket. Ulundula has to throw a check down, which is incomplete, out of bounds, intended for Freddie Greer. And not sure what Ulundula saw downfield, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, he likely saw a lot of white shirts downfield and no red shirts. Therefore, good job by him, good wisdom by the veteran to just basically throw it away, live to play another down.
Defensive front, it's stacked. Scott LaRue, Shane Masters, Mandrake Perp all up front for St. Louis. 7 total defense. Oh, that's a fumble! Fumble on the field. The ball still loose, and it's recovered by Jacob Combs. I'm not sure if that's going to be reviewed because what's the point? It's 4th down, but St. Louis's defense off to a strong start.
Yes, and what a wonderful pass rush that was by the Gladiators defensive line, able to get quick penetration to get to the quarterback just as he threw the ball. Like you, Cam, I thought that throwing motion was already going forward, so I would question whether that was a fumble or not, but like you said, it doesn't matter at this point.
Masters forced the fumble, and Carolina will have to kick it away on a 3-and-out on their opening possession to start the ball game. Juan Moore calls for the fair catch at the 43-yard line. And now we spotlight Carolina's defensive front. Julius Williams, number 52 at defensive end. Defensive tackle, Bo Rivers Monroe, number 77, undrafted rookie. Defensive tackle, Christopher Colon, second-year man. And defensive end, John Gregory, picked as the 24th pick of the draft. Again, 7-star defensive linemen on the field tonight between the two teams. First and 10 at the 43-yard line. And with 3 in the backfield, the handoff goes to Denzel Diaz. And Diaz has some room around the right side before he's smashed down by Tristan Hatley, a 5-yard pickup.
Well, we've seen the old Double D take over games before. Denzel Diaz, 183 yards, 3 touchdowns on the season. Number 1 in receptions out of the backfield, 22 catches, leads all running backs prior to week 4.
Second down and 5. St. Louis at the 47-yard line. 7 in the box, and a seal will look outside to Diaz for no gain. I do believe it was ruled a catch, however. That brings up 3rd down and 5 as St. Louis looks for their passing attack that is much improved this season.
Well, no harm, no foul there on that particular play, but the quarterback, a seal, getting the ball just a little bit too late to Diaz there. Didn't have an opportunity to turn the corner, get some more yardage.
4 receivers in an empty set for a seal. Just getting underway here on Fan Night on the SFL Network against a 4-man rush. And a seal's got to go down. Loss of 8 yards. The sack by Cologne. And Carolina's defense gets off the field.
Well, a seal feeling the pressure, stepping up in the pocket just a little bit, giving that extra millisecond to his receivers to get open, but just can't find anyone, and the Skyhawks pass rush breaks through.
Chat shout-outs, A.J. Francis, 29, Plague 7, DT 93, Xander Gold, Sports Fan 39, who is Shane Masters. Sir Spoonicator is that return by Walsh gets out of the 24-yard line. Denver Nightwings, Eric JDWA representing the Pride. AJ Pick 6, Udoncha, and many, many more in the chat getting ready to watch what so far is a slugfest up front.
Yeah, big defensive game here so far. You know, these two offenses have been playing pretty well. We'll get into that after this play.
First down and 10 of the 24-yard line. 3 receivers all to the bottom of the screen, and Ulundula's pass is caught. First down to Mark Strike out of the Carolina 45-yard line. And the Skyhawks have the first down of the game.
Ulundula completing 68% of his passes, 736 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions so far in the season. There shows you, part of this balanced offense really here in Carolina that likes to actually run the ball a little bit more than they like to pass the ball. They're ranked the 8th best scoring offense in the league, averaging 23.67 points a game going into week 4.
First down and 10 of the 45. Ulundula out of the gun. Back to pass. Check down Francis. Francis now going for the corner and got it. Sort of. Picks up 5 to midfield as he tried to turn upfield.
This game was so hyped just because these two teams are really finding success here early. This is a Carolina Skyhawks franchise who has never posted a record better than 5-7, and here they are 3-0 to start the season.
2nd and 5 from the 50. Square on the 50, 7.5 to go in the first. Hand off to Francis. Francis running right, breaks a tackle, breaks another. A.J. Francis out of the St. Louis 43. Pickup of 7, first down, Carolina.
Well, anytime you can break 2 tackles like that, you're going to get a good amount of yardage. They put a lot of onus of this offense on Francis' shoulders, those mighty shoulders there that are able to ping-pong people off of him. And those are big-time defenders that he is making look like elementary school kids.
First down at the 43 for St. Louis. Hand off Francis, running right, and Francis gets picked up and thrown back. Ajumu Afolabi with the tackle, gain of just 1.
Afolabi, a little quiet this season so far for St. Louis. Only 12 tackles, 1 sack, and an interception on the season. But he's a 4-time veteran. Used to play at Chicago. So this is a guy that's been around the league and a good guy to have in your linebacker corps.
3 receivers as Ulundula's pass to the outside is off of Strike and nearly intercepted by Colin Douglas, who's having a tremendous season.
Yeah, that's ultra dangerous for this secondary that is averaging nearly 3 picks a game so far this season. This Gladiators team is the #1 team in the SFL when it comes to turnover differential at +7. They turn the ball over a lot on offense, but the defense is so talented they get the ball back at a +7 rate so far this season.
3rd and 9. 6:20 left. St. Louis trying to stall the drive. Now 4 wide for Ulundula with Francis to his left. Dime 3-2 look from St. Louis, needing the 33-yard line, and the handoff goes to Francis. Francis in trouble in the backfield. First it was Afolabi, then it was Kai. 4th down, St. Louis's defense bends, but does not break.
Clearly trying to find the Gladiators defense with their pants down there on 3rd and long, calling for a run play. I mean, that's the ultra confidence in Francis there to try to pick up 9 yards. Good job by St. Louis to sniff that one out.
So halfway through the first, Carolina got a couple of first downs on that possession, but can't turn it into any points. Moore's going to let this go from the 9.5-yard line, bounces straight up the field and stops at the 1. I mean, a dead hop, Steven. That was a fantastic punt from Scott Davis.
We've seen so many times that special teams unit foul that up somehow, whether grabbing the ball too early and taking it into the end zone or doing something that they're picking up a little bit too early. Here, the punter doesn't even give them a chance to do any of that. He just drops it on a dime like it was a Tiger Woods put up to the green there.
3 in the backfield. Diaz will take the handoff. Diaz in some trouble, but got out of it. Getting skinny down to the 3-yard line. Something that as we get older, we all have a problem with. Colon on the tackle.
Yes, that metabolism kills us when we get older. But there, Diaz had a defender, Colon, draped right all over him like it was a storm cloud, ready to overtake him in the end zone. But Diaz did a good job of getting out of it and getting the couple yards that gives him a little breathing room.
And off Diaz again, and Diaz not going much anywhere. That's another big fella on the line. Phil Hall, actually, the linebacker, comes in there. Top play of the week nominee last week, ended up falling number 3, but a pretty one-hander as he is part of a very talented Carolina defense. 3rd down and 5 at the 6. Again, 3 backs as they try to get out of the shadow of their own end zone. Got a block on the outside, and that's it. Diaz pushing forward for a couple. Tackle again made by Colon. And it's 4th down. St. Louis will be punting out of their own end zone.
And this is a trend that we're seeing from a lot of SFL coaches. You know, once they get down this close to their own end zone, they just don't feel comfortable in passing the ball, afraid of the turnover and the really quick pick 6. So you'll see them opt to do this a lot, running all 3 downs. That's why it's key when those punts get into that close range. It really helps, the opposing offense because they're going to get great field position, just like they did right there.
Walsh calls for a fair catch, 38-yard line. Mark Lopez is on stats, and the stat of this game so far is that Asil doesn't have any passing yards. Diaz 4 carries and 12 yards, and Asil's just 1 for 1 passing. That Mark strike catch for 21 yards, the only big play of the game so far.
Yeah, and I would look to see, if this offense, the Skyhawks here, tries to look long again, as that's where they've had their greatest success so far.
Hand off to Francis. Francis in trouble, and A.J. Francis can find no room. Bull Knowles on the tackle, and Francis has struggled here to start the ball game. Just 5 yards on 5 carries.
Well, the Gladiators look to be in Carolina's playbook a little bit there, sending 4 guys over to the left-hand side of the line to take care of Francis. Now, Francis is a bit of a Superman there here for Carolina. I don't think he can take 4 guys on by himself, though.
And Francis now running left. Nothing doing there either. Loss of yardage in the backfield. That is Shane Masters who forced the fumble earlier. And St. Louis looking for some yes cheers. I don't think they're going to get him here in the stadium.
Well, the Gladiators, clearly on defense, what they want to do is stop Carolina's running game and say put the onus on winning this game, or at least the offensive side of it, on Lulendula's shoulders. And with that scary secondary, they're willing to take the chance.
Lulendula off the front foot completes the pass to Jalen Miller. 3 of 5 for 46 yards as he steps up in the pocket and drills one.
Well, Jalen Miller, really the superstar of this offense so far this season. 20 receptions, 372 yards receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. But here it's Lulendula who delivers the strike on the run. Boy, we don't see that much, Cam. A quarterback on the run delivering a dime like that, I guess, unless you're Matt Wilson.
And the girlfriend who just got home locked the door, and that means I'm going to burn up in here, so that's awesome. A.J. Francis breaks a tackle, and Francis inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal at the 7. If nobody knows, the ceiling fan here in SFO HQ is not operational tonight.
Well, let me tell you one guy that is operational, A.J. Francis, especially when you get the passing game going. It opens up running lanes like this for your big hoss of a running back. And if he starts feeling it there, that could be making for a long night for those secondary and linebackers for Gladiators. They're going to receive the brunt of that punishment.
1st and goal of the 7-yard line, 2:15 to go in the first. Handoff goes to Francis. Carolina trying to become the first team on the board. Breaks a tackle, and then Francis is buried by Afalabi, who's having one heck of a first quarter. Francis slow to get up, 2nd and goal.
Well, what great vision by Francis there. A little bit of a shaky block in front of him, but able to read that right, cut inside just when he needed to get those extra yards down to the 2-yard line.
150 to go in the first. Francis again. Francis lost 3 yards, maybe even more than that in the backfield. Mo Biggins on the stop. And St. Louis's run defense has been impressive here in the first quarter.
Well, I just talked about A.J. Francis' vision there. The vision was terrible on that particular play as he ran right into Biggins, who got him for the 3-yard loss. Now makes it a 3rd and goal. Do you pass? Do you run? Let's see what Carolina does here.
3rd and goal from the 5. Handoff, Francis running left, and Freeman Peltier puts him in the dirt. Another loss of yards. I don't think Francis has been stopped in the backfield this many times all season, and it's 4th and goal.
That close to the goal line with the kind of power back that Francis can be, you'd like to see them go more north-south on that run, Cam, and use his power in that straight way. They went outside runs on each one of those plays, and Gladiators just sniffed it out.
Low snap, but the kick is good for the Skyhawks, and that makes it 3-0 as we have points on the board. Both teams hard hitting all night tonight. And that takes us to a word from the SFL. We'll be right back.
Want to do what I do? Contact me in the DM on Discord to find out how you can get involved with streaming live games, calling games, or breaking them down on the air with our broadcast team. Or help make our production even better by joining our new live stats team, helping our broadcasters shine brighter. We are hashtag loading legends in the SFL.
1st and 10 at the 26 after Moore's return. And now we'll see if Dylan Acio can get the passing game going here on this drive. It's been a good passing game despite a lack of weapons. Nick Finch is the top receiver on the outside, 6'2", 210 in his 2nd year.
Yeah, but hasn't scored a receiving touchdown yet this season. Probably, no doubt looking to do so here in this game.
That's wild. 1st and 10 for the 26 and a short route there, complete, and get it. That is numbered. Who is that? That's the tackle. Is he eligible?
Yeah, it looks like he subbed in for the tight end for some reason there and was tackle eligible.
Brad Schumann on the reception for an 8-yard pickup. And actually, that they do have a pretty good tight end, Cody Scott, in his 3rd year. He was actually formerly a Carolina Skyhawk. 2nd and 2, Diaz up the middle, and Denzel Diaz is the 1st down for St. Louis, their 1st of the quarter. And that takes us to the end of the 1st quarter of play, and a great 1st quarter it was. St. Louis 0, Carolina 3 from the Cam in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the SFL Network on Twitch, presented by APM Music. We're back after this. APM Music is the official theme music provider of the SFL. Listen to their Champions Will Rise soundtrack at apmmusic.com and visit their all-new esports landing page to find the best highlight music, heroic action, and epic sounds to boost the quality of your esports stream just like us. Log on to forum.apmmusic.com/esports for more information. APM Music, production music library and custom music house.
Here at MediaTek, our goal is to create a well-rounded media professional. MediaTek is a place where you can turn dreams into reality. Our comprehensive recording arts, digital film, animation, mobile apps, and web development courses are focused on being very hands-on. We are a career-focused school. Our instructors are not only great teachers, they are also working professionals with real-world experience. MediaTek, come see what your future holds.
The Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, is brought to you by Show Business Studios, by MediaTek Institute, Richard Sprintworks, ScoreStream, and Spygoat. shots from the wonderful SFL convention. Back to action. Dylan Aseel trying to get this St. Louis offense moving. Their only passing yards went to a tackle in the first quarter. Who would have thought? Diaz on a stretch play running left, and Diaz does well to pick up 4 yards out of nothing. The leading tackler on that play was Shravan Prasad.
We talked a little bit about Carolina's history. You know, St. Louis has been in the SFL for 3 seasons, not including this season. Their best record so far, 4-8. Actual career record for the franchise is 11-25. That's 30.6. That's a 30.6 winning percentage. So you can see why it's important for St. Louis to win this game to get to 3-1, something they haven't done actually since last season.
Diaz picks up 5. X Factor 56 with 100 bits in the chat. R. Cochran with 100 bits on the double in the chat tonight. Appreciate the bits. Suicide King with another 100. That's Nathan Blake. 82 from DT93. That's Christopher Colon. Other shout-outs, Nick Finch 11, Sports Fan 39, Denver Nightwings Neon Killer among others is Denzel Diaz. Gets around the sideline. Should work at Jimmy John's. He's so fast. 1st and 10 of the 27.
Well, that is the screen play to perfection there, Cam, as you get Diaz with 2 big hosses of the offensive line in front of him to block, and they do a terrific job. And Diaz does a great job of just having some patience there, allowing one of his offensive linemen to get 2 blocks to spring him there on the big run.
Man, both blocks got him on the ground. Those were 2 heavy guys out front. 1st and 10 at the 27. Handoff again to Diaz, and they are milking that 3-back set against this Carolina front. Tackle made by Prasad.
And having a lot of success doing so.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a Freudian slip. Boy, do I have some needs, but we can go into all that later. But looking to really play power football here, and then the trickery with the screen pass, and here another pass out.
Yeah, here it is on a check down, and that picks up just 2. Don't think necessarily design screen that time, as the tackle made by Grayson Klein, 5'10", 180. This Carolina secondary, interesting group. Tristan Hatley, Sir Chappelle, who leads the coaching staff, and a couple of corners that are young and inexperienced on the outside, but holding their own so far tonight. 3rd down and 5 at the 22-yard line, 8.5 to go in the first half. Aseel looking around, surveys the field, and Finch is 4 yards out of bounds. 4th down, bad play.
Well, that's only their second pass, and here we already are, 3 minutes into the second quarter, so these wide receivers are just they're probably still cold, and did a little warm-up prior to the game, but they haven't been used much. So this passing game, it's no wonder maybe there isn't some chemistry built up yet.
39-yard field goal for St. Louis's Matthew Martin, who struggled with field goals at the SFL convention from 39 yards away in the left hash. That kick is dead center, and it's 3-3. We got a tie ball game, but the way these teams are hitting and executing out there is fantastic.
Well, these are 2 of the best defenses in the SFL as well, particularly the Gladiators and how many turnovers they've been able to take away from opposing offenses. But here, clearly 2 teams that do like to run the ball, and that tends for low-scoring games, at least at the beginning of games.
Well, Easy Temple, who is one of the league's top bit contributors since the year began, as Walsh returns up to the 30, apparently is donating $10 every time Matthew Martin hits a field goal. So, Steven, I hope it's a 24-21 game, and I hope there's no touchdowns tonight.
Well, you know what? It wouldn't be the first time this season.
Yes, it would. 24-21 anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, I just have still have nightmares about field goal only games.
Yeah, we've had a couple so far. Yulin Dula, sidearm throw to the outside. Oh man, what a catch by Mark Strike, keeping the feed in on the sideline. Picks up 4 yards, and man, Strike has been out in the sun quite some time with the helmet on, apparently.
Well, both of these wide receivers for the Skyhawks do get plenty of looks. Combined 35 receptions on the year and 5 touchdowns between them. Strike 15 receptions so far this season in 3 games.
Rick Northrup in the house. 4-yard pickup, now a 3-back set for Ulandula. And Ulandula's going to flip it out to Francis. Francis can't get a block. He does get a stiff arm for a first down. That was miserable for the defense. Moves it out to the Carolina 40.
Well, that's what you call a BOYB, can be your own blocker there for Francis, as he had a blocker in front of him who missed an obvious block right up front. So he just had to kind of do it himself and does enough there to get the first down.
1st and 10 of the 40. Hand off to Francis. Francis shed Douglas, threw him to the ground. 2-yard pickup, though, as St. Louis has been quick to the football. Carter Cannon on the tackle, and the updated numbers on A.J. Francis is 22 yards on 11 carries. Not much space.
You know, they call Atlanta the swarm, but, man, this Gladiators defense has been swarming to the ball so far here. You know, not giving Francis too many good looks.
To throw again. Francis screen. Got a block inside and then nearly got the first down on his own. Kai and Douglas combined for the tackle. With 7:10 to go in the second quarter, we're tied at 3 in a pivotal 3rd and short.
This is where you would like Carolina to use Francis as a more north-south runner. You don't want to take him to go outside. You want him to just go right and make contact right up the middle.
And Francis instead goes left and did not listen to your advice. Loss of 1 on the play. Kalua with the stop, and St. Louis's defense has done it again for the moment.
And Carolina is absolutely facilitating that in their choice of how they're running Bishop. You know, running him. I'm sorry, not Bishop, Francis. Excuse me. And now they may go for it here on 4th down.
4th and 1. Down to 13 on the play clock. Carolina playing a game of chicken. I've actually never played chicken, so I'm not 100% sure that's the right expression.
No,
but
that's right.
Life's all about risks. Timeout Carolina. They don't take the risk there.
Yeah, I think I know the game of chicken from the movie Footloose, so I'm with you. I don't have any idea what chicken's about.
Also never seen the movie Footloose. Is that a problem for you, Steven?
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh.
That might be.
I know you're a movie buff, so.
You might have missed it on both generations there. You know, I'm old enough to remember the original, but you might have been too old to watch the new version. So you might just be right in between.
I didn't even know there was an original and a new version. So
there is.
Okay, I'll take your word
on it. That's
really
not discussion for a football game.
Hey, you started it. I don't know. From the 13-yard line, one more up to the 18, a 5-yard pickup. What else are we going to talk about while we're waiting for a team to figure out if they're going to punt or go for it? And St. Louis will start from just inside their own 20. Dylan Aseel, as we can look at some numbers, 3 of 4 for 33 yards. Denzel Diaz has 2 of those catches for 25 yards. Nick Finch, Cody Scott don't have a catch yet tonight in the first half.
Yeah, both offenses really utilizing their running backs early.
1st and 10 of the 18, a combined 21 rushing attempts tonight so far. Diaz not going anywhere. Loss of 1. Another great tackle in the backfield. Grayson Klein, his 2nd of the evening, an 87-degree, mostly sunny and hot night here in Raleigh.
Well, good job by Klein to avoid the block and use his vision like a radar to find Diaz and lock onto him and make the open field tackle.
3 in the backfield, 5.5 to go in the second. And the handoff goes to Diaz. Diaz around the left side. Diaz got the first down to the 29-yard line. Good open field tackle there for Carolina's Sir Chappelle. And I have to get back on it, but I'll do so after this replay.
Well, Diaz, when he can get the proper blocking in front of him, you can see here he has the speed to really eat up a lot of green. And here does so before the big hulking secondary guy comes out of nowhere to tackle him.
Jason1347 speaking to Footloose says the original is like the Minneapolis Maulers and the new one is like the NYC Sailors. Ouch. Ouch.
I love it.
Handoff Diaz running right. Diaz finds his way for 4 yards up to the 33-yard line. And you're right, Steven. You called it. Both of these teams are wanting to establish the run. St. Louis has done a better job of that so far, but Carolina benefited from better field position early on.
Yeah, and these are clearly the game plans going into the game, but as this score changes and one has an advantage over another, we're going to see these game plans change.
3 to the outside for St. Louis. A seal gets it away off the hands of Scott and incomplete. Great Scott. He dropped that one 3rd and 6.
So Scott, the tight end, actually drops the pass. This is a tight end who has 11 receptions, 240 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the season. And Brad Shuman, the tackle, actually makes his reception. So Scott, really, you have no excuse, my friend, when the tackle's making catches.
That's true. 3rd down and 6 with 4:27 to go in the first half, and a seal is taking a deep drop back and firing to the outside. Caught only where the receiver could catch it. Nick Finch with his first reception of the first half, and St. Louis picks up a big first down.
Well, a great job running his route by Finch there, offering a nice 6'2", 210-pound target for a seal, and he just stops, opens his arms wide open and say, hey, I'm open, hit me. Hits him right in the numbers. Nice play.
Ball was a smidge late, but like you said, excellent route by a seal. Chopping those feet, creating some separation. 1st and 10 for the 43-yard line, 3 in the backfield again. And this time, a seal going to try to throw to Diaz, but he's covered and throws it out there to him anyway and gives his running back an unnecessary hit and a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, that's probably an unwise decision there by Seal. I mean, it works out kind of, but yeah, if that defender had been just a smidge quicker, might have been able to tap the ball or even intercept it.
That's where you'd like to see a seal run with that one. His legs are some of the best in the SFL. He's got some wheels at the quarterback position. Picks up 4, does Diaz on that run. Down to 3:18 to go in the first half. 3rd down and 7.
Well, you can see what that pass did to this series. You know, now we're in a 3rd and long situation. You get negative yardage on 1st down. You run Diaz as you've been doing all day, and it only gains you 4 yards. So now you're putting the onus of converting this 1st down on a Seal's shoulders.
Nickel look for Carolina. Seal did it on the last possession, 3rd down, or the last 3rd down rather. And this 3rd down and 7 is off the hands of Finch and incomplete. I don't think he would have been able to turn the corner anyway. And St. Louis is going to have to punt it away at the 2nd drop for the Gladiators in the first half.
Well, likely feeling the pressure there, Finch. He's got a defender in front of him and behind him. Knows that he's got to catch a ball, probably get some contact there. Just takes his eyes off it for just a second, probably thinking of his next move.
So, St. Louis will have to punt it away. The punter, Graham Northrup, 6'2", 210. The Who You Got this week favored Carolina 58-50, as it was a bit of a toss-up as people wondered who was going to win tonight, as Walsh returns up to the 20. 2:43 left to go in the first half. 3-3 ball game. A quick word from the SFL coming right up.
Join the world's fastest growing sim football community by jumping onto our Discord server. Use the Discord command in chat to keep up with schedules, news, notes, announcements, and polls. Jump off the sidelines and into the action here where we're loading legends at the SFL.
Ulandula outside, caught by Strike. Strike turning the corner, nearly got the first down, but he was swallowed up by 3 different defenders on the outside for St. Louis, including number 47, Tony Anderson, and Afalabi.
So we've seen a little inconsistency from St. Louis's offense, Cam, and you can confirm this for me or not, but I believe this is the Gladiators' first away game of the season, is it not?
Yeah, you're right. They started with a 3-game homestand, so it's interesting to see how they're performing pretty well on the road so far. Ulandula against late pressure, pass caught by Jalen Miller, who's been a deep threat of sorts for the Skyhawks. 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games, being facetious there. Ulandula 8 of 10 for 85 yards, and Miller has been the deep threat, the top deep threat on this field for either side.
And Miller running an excellent out route there, wide open, getting separation from his defender.
2 minutes left in the first half. This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on Twitch TV. Carolina trying to go 4-0 for the first time in franchise history. First down and 10 from the 40. If St. Louis wins, they go to 3-1 for back-to-back years. Of course, they fell apart the latter part of last season. Wide open is Mark Strike to the Gladiator 41-yard line, then goes over and has some words with a few players on that St. Louis bench. First down, Skyhawks.
Well, great job here by the wide receiver, knowing that he's near the sidelines, able to basket catch this one over his right shoulder, bring it in and avoid contact from the defender. But just a really good job of concentrating with that Gladiator bearing down on him.
One thing that Ulandula has not done tonight is throw a pick. And we know this St. Louis secondary has been outstanding over the first 3 games. Hand off to Francis, not much there, pickup of 2, and that may have been why we saw such an early dose of A.J. Francis.
Well, talking about this Gladiators secondary, they've got Ethan Kai, the strong safety, 3 interceptions so far this season. Colin Douglas, the cornerback, 4 interceptions this season. Freeman Peltier, the free safety, 4 interceptions this season. They've only played 3 games, folks. That's a ton of picks in this secondary.
Second 8 from the 39. Ulandula looking down the middle of the field, and it's caught by Miller, beating the defense, and a perfect pass from Jacques. First down to the Gladiator 15.
Well, likely the clock here with just over a minute left in the second quarter has facilitated this Carolina offense to open up and start passing more. They haven't gone to A.J. Francis so far as I can remember yet. So they're looking to pass here.
Ulandula caught by Walsh. Pickup of 9 to the 6. Ulandula not afraid. He is everywhere here in the first half. Ulandula end zone. Touchdown, Jalen Miller. And Carolina takes the lead.
Well, clearly they saw something in this Gladiators defense they wanted to take advantage of. So they went to the hurry-up offense, and they strike Jalen Miller in the middle of the field. It's just 3 wide receivers to the right. They run their routes, allowing Ulandula to find the open man amongst them. I would argue there were at least 2 receivers open in the middle of the field there. So the Gladiators secondary that we talk so highly about just had to scramble. They're not putting in a fresh play, and you see the result.
100 bits from VTAC for fan night, and Carolina did not even need to use one of their 2 timeouts to get the score. Extra point is good, and just before the half, the Skyhawks are done settling for 3. They're now up 10-3, and St. Louis will have 1 more shot, and Ulandula's numbers through that drive, now 12 of 14, 143 yards, 1 touchdown, and no picks. He could, when it's all said and done, have the greatest season that a Carolina Skyhawk quarterback has ever had. This team not knowing for their passing attack, and he has been outstanding since arriving from the West Coast in San Francisco. Moore returns up to the 27.
Well, that was perfectly orchestrated by the veteran quarterback there, in his second season. But that might have been one of the best passing series that we've seen in the SFL so far this season.
Mark Lopez, 100 bits for the nice job from Carolina. Rick Northrup says, caught the St. Louis safety covering no one on the left side of the formation with 3 wideouts on the right side. Too easy. Darn. He's going for your job, Steven, as St. Louis calls a timeout.
He can have it, man. He can take it. He does a great job with his son, so I love his commentary. I'm a fan.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're not supposed to make it seem like it's just such a horrible job that you're just willing to give it away for the first guy that gives analysis in the chat room.
Hey, you brought it up as a possibility. You mean I can get a vacation?
2nd and 6 at the 31. Outside to the... Is that the fullback? No, that is number 85, the tight end, Benny Brazil. So we've seen a tackle and the tight end 2 on the depth chart getting a catch. Cody Scott still doesn't have one. 3rd and 7, time running down. 15 seconds, quick snap. A seal just got it away. Diaz has plenty of blockers. Diaz midfield, and Diaz down to the 47-yard line. Oh, St. Louis should have called a timeout there, but instead we'll call it there and we'll line up for the Hail Mary.
Whew, they had a boy. I'm sad that we won't get to see a replay of that, but did Diaz ever have a convoy in front of him? And it looked like he had wide open spaces. If we could get just one more block, or if he could have beat that man, that could have tied this game.
And what a great job by Dylan Asil, staying patient, taking the hit, allowing all those blocks to form downfield. That was outstanding. Asil's got 4 wide. Nick Finch is the farthest man off the line of scrimmage in this Hail Mary look. Final play of the first half, 10-3, Carolina up on St. Louis. And Asil's got all kinds of time. Now it's breaking down. Asil actually looked like the Carolina defender got held. No call. John Gregory applying the pressure. And that is the end of the first half of play with your score, St. Louis 3 and Carolina 10 on the Fan Night Game of the Week. And Steven, give us your analysis of the first half.
Well, it's a defensive slugfest here, really, where the offenses have gone early to the running backs, and they just haven't had enough success converting some of those third downs. So when each team really needed to go to the passing game, it just wasn't there for them until Carolina opened their offense up late in the second quarter, and that magically created the first touchdown of the game. So I expect more from the Skyhawks to open up their offense and pass the ball a little bit more, and for St. Louis not to be so conservative in their game plan and open things up with a seal as well, and maybe look to their other playmakers other than Diaz here in the second half.
Steven, I'd love to get your take on how the week went around the league. I know you saw plenty of action as we were coming to the end of week 4, heading into week 5. Anything catch your attention outside of the Lobos game around the league this week?
Some of the best teams in the SFL continue to show us why they're the best teams. They continue to win these crucial away games that are so crucial to having a positive record. That's the thing. The teams that dominate, the Alaskas, the Tallahassees, those kind of teams, they just continue to find ways to win, and it amazes me week in and week out.
Start of the second half is around the corner. We'll be back to Raleigh after this. The Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, is brought to you by Richards Printworks, the official shop of the Simulation Football League, and by ScoreStream, the official app of the Simulation Football League. And there's the group photo, the debut of the SFL Convention group photo. Got most of the people that were able to attend in there. Some were missing. Good-looking group right there. Steven, are you that sexy black man in the front? Is that you?
I wish that was me. Boy, would I pay for that? I would love it.
I
mean, to be in that body would be, that's not it.
I didn't know.
Can we just talk about football? No more Footloose. No more paying for people.
I didn't know, but we're so good at it, Steven. We're so good at it. I thought you just wanted to be president of the SFL. That's on 1st and 10 at the 28. More on the return.
Let me think about that for a while.
Jermaine's probably off somewhere going, oh, you don't want that job, man.
Yeah, I know.
1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. Dylan Asil out of shotgun, and Asil is sacked. Haven't seen a lot of pressure tonight after the first couple of drives, especially Christopher Colon on the sack, his first full one of the night.
And we should have been talking about Colon a little bit more tonight. 10 tackles, 3 sacks on the season. There's his 4th. Actually, he's been disruptive tonight in plenty of different ways. We don't talk about the defensive tackles a lot, simply because if they don't put up the numbers, we don't think they have a big enough impact, but they absolutely do. And they have an impact that's beyond the stat sheet. And Colon there showing you how much of an impact they can have on this game.
Back to pass, Asil, deep ball, caught by Cody Scott. Got behind the defense, breaking a tackle down to the Carolina 39-yard line. And Asil has more passing yards on that play than he had in the whole first half.
Well, I guess we need to apologize to the Carolina Skyhawks. We talked bad about Cody Scott. He obviously heard that at halftime, comes out, runs a perfect post route, a lot of speed for a tight end there, but look at the separation he gets from the defender and the wheels that he has to gain the extra, 10, 15 yards after catch, unheard of by a tight end.
1st and 10 at the 39, and that was a perfect pass, too, from Asil. Handoff, Diaz running right with blockers, and Denzel Diaz takes a shot. Big hit there from Tristan Hatley, the undrafted rookie. However, he has played in a couple of different places and actually started his career a couple seasons ago with Carolina, so not entirely accurate, but is his first year in this new system.
Well, Hatley, a nice job to put a Hatley on Diaz, but again, I got to go back to Double D's patience. I love the patience. He doesn't show much there because there just wasn't anything open on that run play for him to go through the hole there. But on that previous play, good patience to follow his blocker. If he had just held out for just one more block, could have bust that open for a big one.
Shravan Prasad with another tackle. We're next on the air Friday night as the London Knights are licking their wounds. They will host the undefeated Alaska Storm, and the best games on the SFL schedule can find themselves in different places, so you never want to miss a minute of the action. If you think that London's just going to roll over and go 1-4, I highly doubt that's going to happen. Meanwhile, St. Louis is stuffed on 3rd down and will have to punt the ball away, and a great drive ends in nothing.
Yeah, and that's sad. They're right on the edge. I mean, really could try a field goal attempt here, be a 51-yarder, but opting to just pin Carolina deep in their own territory, try to get a good field position for their offense.
Inside the 10, beautiful punt. This is going to bounce. Oh, it bounced in the end zone. Oh, that's very unlucky there by Graham Northrup, as I thought for sure that ball was going to go out of bounds at the 4-3.
Well, those punters, they like to put a spin on the ball to try and, retract it back a little bit if it's too far. Here, the spin just is counterproductive and stays in bound. Cam, I swear that was going to go out of bounds.
So from the 20, bad luck there for St. Louis. 8:27 to go for the red-hot Ulandula and the rest of the Carolina Skyhawks. Ulandula going to throw again outside to Miller. Got the first down, and I love the adjustment that Carolina has made to this game. A.J. Francis wasn't getting anything going on the ground, so they've decided to let Ulandula play, and he's stepping up to the challenge.
Well, it's perfectly illustrated here, the change of philosophy, because it's worked for them, Cam. On that first series, and really in the first half, it was Francis first down, Francis second down, Francis third down. Here, first play of the second half, Jalen Miller.
Three in the backfield, one receiver. Handoff goes to Francis. Francis breaks off a tackle, and A.J. Francis picks up 7. Couple had to bring him down, including Freeman Peltier, 2nd and 3 at the 37-yard line.
Well, if A.J. keeps making plays like that, they're going to look towards his direction. The only reason they're really passing is they have is because it's working. But if Francis can start to get red hot, they'll go with the hot hand here in Carolina.
2 backs, 2 receivers, 2nd and 3, 7:40 to go in the third. Ulandula, outside check down, fullback, nothing. Colin Douglas shut it down, 44 on 44 crime there as Freddie Greer lost 3 yards.
Well, Greer really a victim of the play call because it had him turning back to the quarterback. If he would have just continued along there and ran more of a swing route, that would have been a big play for Carolina. Instead, there it results in negative yardage.
Now a 3rd down, a little bit more difficult. 3rd down and 6, 3-3 look out of the St. Louis defense in gray, gold, and white. Handoff Francis in blue and red. Francis got rid of Ethan Kai and got the first down to the 41-yard line. He needed it.
Oh, is this the 2008 housing crisis? Because that was an absolute bailout by A.J. Francis. Look, you go for it again on 3rd down, run the ball. It's got a blocker in front of him, but the blocker's not as fast as Francis, and he outruns him. But Francis able to power through to get that first down. Not a fan of the play call. Huge fan of the play.
Ulandula, 126.3 QBR tonight. 149 yards, touchdown, no picks. 6:40 to go in the third quarter. 10-3 Carolina on top of St. Louis. Ulandula to throw. Good pocket. Pass incomplete. Even better coverage down the field. I believe I don't have a 41 on the roster, so I think it may have been Ethan Kai downfield.
Well, Stryker not able to gain a lot of separation from the defender. 47 there is able to really make up a lot of ground quickly as he turns his body and is able to leap forward and look like he was covering the receiver there like a wet blanket.
Tony Anderson there with the stellar play. 2nd down and 10 at the 41. Stops the clock. Only Ulandula's 3rd incompletion of the night.
Wow.
And Dylan Asil also only has 3 incompletions, so we've seen no picks and just 6 incomplete passes today in a fantastically well-played game. Ulandula over the middle, caught by Cameron Walsh. First down to the Gladiator 48-yard line, spinning away from a ghost in the process.
Well, just giving his giving his quarterback a nice target right there in the middle of the field. Good field awareness there by the receiver as he knew what he needed to do and where he needed to be to get that first down.
Array 145, Vancouver Legion. Rex Bank, James Klein 16, True Shot Caller 1, Pure 2K 12 in the chat. Pure 2K 12, Marcus Dunhill, and we'll have that exclusive interview for you live on YouTube after the game. Give us a few minutes just to set that up, but we're all ready to go on the back end as Douglas makes the tackle on a Francis 1-yard keeper.
Yeah, that's one of the best 1-yard runs I've seen yet from Francis. Had to actually leap over a defender who had gotten into the backfield just to make that 1-yard run.
5.5 to go in the third. 5 receptions on 5 targets for Jalen Miller for 73 yards. Ulandula out of the split set. Down the middle of the field. Caught by Strike. Rolling over to the St. Louis 28-yard line. Another first down for Carolina as this passing attack is putting on a show against what is considered to be one of the better secondaries in the SFL.
Cam, to be young and athletic, to make that play there as Strike is to leap really. Had his knee hit the ground and still able to outstretch the arms. If I did that, Cam, I'd be at a chiropractor for a week straight.
You'd be on one of those I've fallen and I can't get up commercials. 1st and 10 at the 28. Ulandula out to Francis. Francis has a blocker, but the blocker can't hold. Gain of just 1 and a great tackle on the very far side of the field by Knowles.
And what caused that was the little bit of delayed pass there. If Ulandula is able to get it to his to Francis a little bit quicker, then the offensive lineman doesn't have to hold that block as long.
4:40 to go in the third quarter and counting. It's been a long drive for Carolina, coming up on 4 minutes now. 3 receivers, 2 to the top of the screen. Handoff Francis. Francis did not get a block from his receiver, and I know running backs love when their receivers block, but he just did not get the pickup from Mark Strike.
Yeah, and it was Afolabi, really, who was proud of defenders, able to come backwards and leap and grab onto Francis and hold on for dear life.
3rd down and 6. 4:08 to go in the third. Francis going to run it on 3rd down, and he didn't get it. What a stop. Just in the nick of time by Kalua and company. And I'm not sure if Carolina's going to want to challenge that or not.
It is close, Cam, but I don't think they got it. But what confidence they have in Francis. So many times on 3rd down tonight, they will call his number regardless of how much yardage they need.
Instead, feeling good about their defense, they'll kick a 35-yard field goal. The kicker is Ezekiel Klein, one of about 80 Kleins on this squad. 35-yard kick for Klein. Good. It's 13-3. Carolina. So you've got Ezekiel Klein at kicker. What's up, Ezekiel? You've got Jamison Klein, the backup quarterback. You've got Grayson Klein playing corner. And do we have any others out there? Bob Klein at wide receiver. Don't see much of him on the field.
Yeah, they're like rabbits. They just keep multiplying. Those Kleins and Dags. We have just an I can't even say the word. I'm not even going to try.
I don't know what. I don't even know what you're trying to say. Infant doesn't make sense. Infamy? That doesn't make sense either.
I'm going to sound like an idiot if I keep trying to say it, so I'm just going to stop.
Well, I don't know what you're saying though, so I think you should say it again.
And on to football, folks.
Oh man, he saw right through my charade. Or is it charade? 1st and 10 of the 27.
In the chat.
16 carries, 58 yards for Diaz with 3:25 to go in the third. 13-3. Carolina has a 10-point lead. Trying to get to 4-0. Seal changes the play at the line against a 4-man rush outside. Scott caught. 4-yard gain to the 32. Runs into a teammate. Stops the clock.
Well, for Carolina, they are pretty comfortable with a 10-point lead. Obviously, St. Louis hasn't scored more than 3, so there's nothing telling them that they're the Carolina, the Skyhawks defense isn't going to be able to hold. But for St. Louis, you just got to generate more than what Diaz is giving you offensively.
Infestation. What's so hard
about that?
There it is.
I don't know. I can't.
2nd and 6 at the 32, and Diaz is dragged down in the backfield. That is Carl Forgy in the backfield. Check that, John Gregory. We got a couple of 91s on our roster sheet, but great play by Gregory.
Yeah, well, that's the problem when you call number 23's number so often. These defenses in the SFL, they're not stupid. They know that's going to be the focal point of their offense, and that's all they've shown in the first half. Now they're going to force, St. Louis to throw.
2:40 to go in the third, and a Seal's going long, and it's picked off. Picked off and going the other way, past midfield to the St. Louis 46-yard line. It's the first turnover of the game, and it's Sir Chappelle ripping it away.
And almost as if the pass was intended for Chappelle. Diaz completes the pass. One problem, it's to the other team. And there, just a great job by 26, playing center field, making the basket catch, getting some yards after the interception. Just a nice play and a confidence booster for a Skyhawks team that already has all the momentum.
Shan Varner in the chat says, Coach Klein said foosball is not the devil, mama. I think Shan likes Waterboy a little bit too much. He's got too many Waterboy references. 1st and 10 of the 46, and Francis goes nowhere. Loss of 1 in the backfield. Nice play by Shane Masters, who's been quiet since the forced fumble and sack in the first half.
Hey, what mama don't know won't hurt her, right, Shan?
Alligators at 2nd and 11 at the 47-yard line. 2:12 to go in the third. 4 receivers, 3 off the right side for Ulandula. Hand off to Francis again. Francis, look at the burst right up the middle. Picked up 10 yards. The sea parted for A.J. Francis. He said, yes, please.
Well, we've talked too much about A.J. Francis in this game. Let's talk about this offensive line and the canyon, the Grand Canyon that opened up in the middle of that defensive line that allowed Francis to use his really, really great boost of speed there to get nearly 10 yards.
3rd and 1. Gladiators need to stop. Carolina's dominated this third quarter as Ulandula will flip it out to Francis. Got a block, however. There is a flag. That could be trouble for multiple reasons since the Skyhawks were just outside of field goal range.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a holding call You don't see a lot of those here in the SFL, but when you do, boy, especially in this situation, like you mentioned, on third down, that takes away a first down. That takes them out of field goal range. And, now will they look again? It's 3rd and 11. You'd think they pass, but in these situations, sometimes they've been looking to Francis to gain all 11 yards.
People keep complaining, and I do apologize about the fact that this video on 3rd and 11, Francis is going to run. He didn't get the first down, but people complaining that the quality of the videos should not be on high. It should be other qualities so people can watch on mobile. Well, we can't do that until we're a Twitch partner, and that's why we keep hammering this viewership rating, and we're just playing the game we've been dealt. 92 viewers tonight. We're working hard to convince Twitch we've done everything we possibly can, and we got to get those quality settings fixed, so I do apologize for the issues, but, we can only do so much. And your viewership is the only thing within our control right now, as that punt is going to bounce all the way into the end zone. Carolina can't stop it, and St. Louis gets a critical stop that they only would have gotten with that holding call, so Carolina helps them out a bit.
Yeah, and I've dealt with the same situation as a lot of our, Twitch watchers out there that, I have trouble streaming at high def, and we do place the games on YouTube later, for if you want to rewatch it. But we encourage you, please, even just to be here to help us to get these numbers up, will make it quicker for us to make that stream change and be able to lower the quality so everyone can enjoy it.
Diaz picks up 1, 2nd down and 9 from the 21-yard line as the time is running out on the 3rd quarter. St. Louis looks like they want to get another playoff. Diaz has been slowed down since the early part of this ball game. Now just 59 yards on 20 carries. Francis actually now having the better night as Diaz takes the handoff and will not get away. Diaz having a rough go of it here in the 3rd quarter as the tackle is made by Willie Van Dyke. End of 3 from Raleigh, North Carolina, and right now the Skyhawks are 1 quarter away from 4-0. 13-3, it's the SFL Network on Twitch.tv, presented by APM Music, and we will be right back after this.
Show Business Studios can take your dream and make it reality. Any show, anytime, any place. Show Business Studios is limited only by your imagination. Find us at showbusinessstudios.com.
The Simulation Football League is presented by APM Music, Show Business Studios, the MediaTek Institute, Richards Printworks, ScoreStream, and SpyGoat. Start of the 4th quarter, and we do need people to help on ScoreStream, especially in these primetime games when SFL headquarters is quite busy, as Denzel Diaz will not get the first down, and Stephen, St. Louis has an offense problem here in the second half.
Well, they played fine. They just haven't put it, many points on the board, and they've really played a conservative style of offense. And I'm afraid that the time is getting so late in the game here, they just can't afford to do that anymore.
10:45 to go in the 4th. Don't read the chat at home, folks. As from the 40, Walsh returns out of the 45-yard line. Mike Daggs making a comment that he did not like the way that mouse was looking at Colin in that photo.
Well, to explain that, I thought maybe we should. That at the place where we held the convention, they had a lot of props there. I saw Herbie's the car from Herbie. I saw Monsters Inc. characters all around. They store a lot of movie memorabilia there. And that mouse was one of those things.
And actually, I'm not making this up as the handoff goes out to Francis. Francis has a first down out of the St. Louis 41. He continues to roll. I'm not making this up, Stephen. Those couches that everybody sat at, those white couches, those were Snoop Dogg's couches. Serious. So I've been told.
That's great. I would have taken a picture of the couch.
10:20 to go in the fourth. Seriously, I kid you not.
They were amazing.
Apparently they bought him after a big party he threw or whatever. So Show Business Studios making it happen. 1st and 10 at the 41. 10 minutes to go in the fourth. 13-3. Carolina's up. Handoff goes to Francis. Francis with a dirty stiff arm. Picks up 8 and throws aside Anderson in the process. Now back into field goal range, and Carolina is slowly wearing down the Gladiators.
Well, the running back built like a tank shows a little grown man strength there and delivers a blow with his arm that puts the defender on the ground.
2 backs and 2 receivers. 9:40 to go in the fourth. 2nd down and 2. Handoff Francis again. Francis is churning the yards. Picks it up to the 24-yard line. Peltier on the tackle. Francis is red hot right now. Now up to 95 yards on 24 carries.
Well, it certainly helps when you get blocking like this, able to get in front of the defender and really leaving Francis untouched until he's about 12 yards down the field.
Good block by Greer on Douglas, and Ulandula still playing a perfect football game. 17 of 20, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Miller's got 73 yards receiving. Strike has 71 yards receiving. Both have 5 receptions. So a very balanced attack tonight. Ulandula now going to throw. Ulandula going to the end zone. Touchdown! What a catch! What a catch by Mark Strike! That was beautiful.
Well, Mark Strike has strike in his name, but that was a strike by Ulandula. Absolute trust in his wide receiver there. Delivers a laser, and he's covered one-on-one, and he just trusts his receiver, Strike, to go and get that ball, and delivers it right on the numbers. Perfect pass in that situation, and really chemistry with the receiver is where that really is built.
That's a top play nominee for sure. That was a hell of a pass for Ulandula, who's playing a tremendous game tonight. The extra point is good. And I tell you what, Ulandula he was on a 5-7 team, a team that got off to a rough start. Gabriel Manning got a lot of the credit in San Francisco, rightfully so. But you didn't necessarily hear Ulandula as a big free agent acquisition necessarily in the offseason, and he may end up being one of the more critical players Carolina picked up in this reshaped organization.
Well, I really feel like this was the perfect landing spot for him just because of the talent that they were able to surround him with. And clearly tonight we've seen that he's got a lot more support in the backfield from Francis than he ever got in San Francisco. And clearly 2 very talented weapons in Strike and Miller who have played absolutely terrific tonight. And another point I wanted to make, Cam, we built this Gladiators secondary. We built them up so much, clearly because of their reputation so far. But I think in their first away game, we've seen Ulandula really pick them apart.
It's a great point. Are playing on the road, and tougher to win on the road than at home. Diaz picks up 6 yards out of the 31-yard line, and I'm not surprised St. Louis is running the ball, but it is a 3-score game, and they're going to have to get points here pretty soon.
Well, I'm all right with if you're able to gain 6 yards every time you run the ball, but that just hasn't been the case for every run by Diaz tonight. Clearly talented, but this particular formation, it lends you to want to run the ball or throw the swing or the screen pass.
2nd and 4 from the 31-yard line. Acio hit as he threw at the Diaz. Diaz has some blockers. Diaz down the sideline, runs out of bounds at the 39-yard line, stopping the clock. Now has 6 catches for 59 yards. He's been their most consistent weapon, and especially when Acio waits just long enough to get him open, it's been effective.
Well, you can understand the thinking by the offensive coordinator here. These 2 back-to-back plays show you exactly why they believe Diaz can carry this offense. But at a certain point, you're going to have to let your quarterback or give him the green light and let him make some plays down the field for you.
1st and 10 at the 39, 8:10 to go in the fourth. Handoff, Diaz! Oh, Diaz is spun backwards. I don't think I've ever seen a hit that hard in the backfield. That was Willie Van Dyke exploding for a 2-yard loss.
What did that young man run in high school for the 40? Because I want to see that from a defender. It looked like he hit Diaz at full stride there, knocking him backwards 5 yards. You don't see many defenders doing that.
Out of the gun, a seal, deep ball into double coverage, incomplete. Finch was blanketed by Grayson Klein and company.
Boy, Klein having himself one heck of a game here in perfect position to knock the ball away. The receiver had zero chance. Finch had zero chance to catching that ball. Defender in perfect position.
.7:39 to go in the fourth. 3 receivers, 2 backs in the backfield. A seal, incomplete. That wasn't going anywhere. I don't know what he was thinking. And it's been a rough second half for St. Louis and a coming out party for Carolina. They are having a lot of fun out there.
Well, let me tell you what oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, let me tell you what you don't want to do. You do not, on a 3rd and long, want to have a short drop back with this talented defensive line bearing down on you. And that just means you have to make your decisions quickly, and your receiver or your tight end is going to have to get open quickly. There, neither one of those things was accomplished.
St. Louis punts the ball away, and Walsh returns up to the 35-yard line. And so now it's up to Ulandula and Francis to put this game away. They won't need much more.
And Ulandula has been nearly flawless tonight. In one of the better performances, Cam, that we've honestly seen from under center this season.
7:28 to go in the fourth. 3-back set for Carolina. Ulandula flips it out to Francis. Francis 35-40, missed tackle. Picks up 7 yards before Kai and Douglas run him out of town. Skyhawks are at Indianapolis next week. Back on Sunday night, regularly scheduled programming. So that'll be an interesting ball game as Indianapolis tries to lick their 1-3 wounds, and then a bye week for the Skyhawks, and then back at home against London.
And this is a Gladiators team that defeated Indy in week 3, so good sign here for Carolina.
Pick up for the first down, A.J. Francis, and that Carolina-London game will be a rematch from a few weeks ago, Eggplant Bowl 2.
No comment.
First and 10 of the 46 for Carolina, who, with 6.5 to go in the fourth quarter, I mean, they've just been as perfect as you could be tonight. And they just played a phenomenal game. Francis is open with 1 man to beat, and the tackle is made by Douglas. Down to the Gladiator 30-yard line. Francis is chewing up the Gladiators and spitting out the shield in the fourth quarter.
Well, you could feel it coming all night, Cam. At some point, you know that Francis was going to break through here. He does it late here in the fourth quarter to help him try and seal this game. Douglas there, the veteran, the 5th-year defender, able to make the touchdown-saving tackle, but I'm afraid the damage has likely been done as Francis here is feeling red hot.
125 yards now on 26 carries, and Carolina has 211 passing yards and 125 rushing yards. Ulandula going to throw out to Francis. Francis, a beautiful behind-the-back catch, picks up 2, brings up 2nd down and 8, but more importantly for Carolina, the clock continues to run.
Yeah, and it's clear what they're trying to do here, Cam. They're not looking necessarily to put another touchdown up on the board, but they're wanting to run just enough clock. You can see Francis, a very cerebral player here, making sure that he stays in bound and that clock keeps running.
5.5 to go in the fourth. 2nd down and 8 at the 28. 3 receivers, 2 backs, handoff Francis. Not much there. Nice hit from Afalabi, who's been quiet. The updated look at Francis's night that started slow, but man, just impressive from the Skyhawk team that's 5 minutes and 10 seconds away from starting 4-0 for the first time in franchise history.
Yeah, it's been a good run for them and a much-deserved one, a long-awaited one. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted really to call this game. I want to be part, I want to see and be part of this terrific run by Carolina.
Carolina, in their first 5 seasons of the league, averaged just over 3 wins per season, and they're about to get their 4th in as many weeks. That's a pretty incredible turnaround, and all the kudos out to A.J. Francis, Sir Chappelle, James Klein, and all of his staff. They've just done a tremendous job. This is a 43-yard field goal for Carolina. Long season, but a good start for the Skyhawks. From 43 yards away, near the right hash, right-footed kicker is Klein, milking the clock to go up by 20. Still a 3-score game, and the field goal from 43 yards, why wouldn't it be good? Off to the right, but still good enough, and it's 23-3.
Well, here we go. Another Klein again. This one here, this is the best time for a kicker to make these kinds of pressure kicks, really, because there's really not any pressure when you're up now 20 points here late in the fourth quarter. It's like he's kicking it in practice, Cam.
If there's not any pressure, is it still a pressure kick?
I think in the sense of there's always pressure. You want to keep your job. You can't, as a kicker, their egos are so fragile. If you miss one, that's in your head for the next game and the next game, and then you can be quickly out of the league. I mean, I remember a guy by the name of Mike Vanderjagt back in the day, who was one of the most accurate kickers in the history of the NFL when he played, and he started missing kicks, and it ruined his career. So I think, in a sense, in the background for kickers, it's always a pressure kick, because one bad miss can start a bad streak for you.
I was being coy, but that's why you're the #1 analyst on this network. 4:06 to go in the fourth, and a seal flips it out to Finch. What was that, Steven?
I said that's debatable. We got too many guys that are so good, man, in this league, and these color commentators, boy. Rick Northrup being one of them. Obviously, Shan Varner, and I know I'm going to miss some. Ramos Lynn. I know I'm going to miss a lot of guys here, but they do a great job.
Did you hear his line? I think it was in the Dallas-Vegas game where Colin asked Rick about John Blades, and he thought for a while and then said, I don't have anything. Did you hear him say that? Is that pass is incomplete?
I have totally blocked that game from my memory. So
didn't you win that game?
Oh, I might have, yeah. Actually, I do remember that from Rick, not having anything. And I applaud him for his honesty.
Oh, man. I could get some hot water for a following comment. But, wow. You blocked the win from your memory. Okay.
Well, we've lost so many. It's hard to keep track of the one win we have.
3rd down and 7. Aseal's in trouble, and he fires it away. Cologne with more pressure. 4th down, and St. Louis's offense has become just straight up anemic here in this fourth quarter. By the way, Steven, if I ever went to you and you said I got nothing, I'd kill you. But Rick and Colin make it work somehow.
I'm sure I've done that.
No.
At some point, I'm sure. You know what I do? I just stay quiet. Maybe that's what I do.
4th and 7 at the 29, and out of the shotgun is Aseal trying to save the game. And Aseal floats it down the middle. Cody Scott pulls it in, and the Gladiators aren't dead.
Well, this is a great play here to go ahead and do no huddle on, because that's been their biggest play of the night.
Throw out to the tight end, and he got his head taken off by Prasad. Clock is ticking, 3.5 minutes to go. That was Brazil. Aseal steps up in the pocket, gets away, runs, and then bulls ahead for about 4. First run of the game.
I saw 4 defensive linemen there get really early jumps off the ball. I thought it was going to be a sack for sure.
And deep ball is caught by Nick Finch. 20, 10, down to the 7-yard line. Takes a big hit at the end of it from Chappelle, but the best drive of the night for St. Louis's offense.
And surprised that that didn't go out of bounds, Cam. I thought he did, but the clock keeps going.
Pass to Aseal. Yeah, I did too, Steven. That throw is a perfect pass, almost just outside of Brazil's reach as it went over both the defender and Brazil's head. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, looking there for the bench, the role player tight end to come up with a big catch. Just a little too tall for him there.
2nd and goal at the 7. Plague 7 worried about St. Louis costing him another 1,000 bits for a Matthew Martin field goal, but I don't think they're going to kick a field goal in this late stage of the game. Second and goal from the 7, outside Finch, caught, makes it more manageable as he can't turn upfield. Does stop the clock, third down and goal from the 4.
Well, that's where you want your number one wide receiver there to make a play for you. They're wide open, no defenders around them. Had an opportunity to probably get to the pylon, but his momentum was already taking him out of bounds.
This could be a confidence booster for St. Louis. Down 20, they'd like to get something positive before they get back on the plane to go to Missouri. Moore is in the slot, Finch bottom of the screen, and Asil out of the shotgun. Third down and goal, Asil, pressure from behind him, dumps it off to Diaz. Diaz going nowhere, lost 2, and St. Louis, a field goal does nothing. They're going to have to go for it.
And they're going to let the clock run here, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that play just took too long to develop, and by the time Asil found Diaz, the defender was all over.
Fourth and goal from the 5. They're going to go heavy here. 7 in the box, 8 in the box really for Carolina. And they're going to throw out to Diaz. Block, set. Diaz won't get there. Great play made by Eli Gilly on Diaz on the outside. And I can't fault the play call because it's been successful tonight. But Carolina was ready for it and sniffed it out.
Well, just a good job by Gilly here to bypass. There was a receiver out there that could have blocked him, didn't, missed the blocks there. And then you take that. I think if you're St. Louis, Diaz on a role-playing defender, but the defender came up big with the tackle, open field tackle, and prevents them from scoring.
Finally, Vancouver Legion says something in the chat worth saying. Gilly, as you might say, Stephen.
Okay. Might have to use that one tonight.
See, that's pretty good. Handoff picks up just 1, and that brings us to the 2-minute warning. What a night for Carolina. Playing a complete game and up 20. This is Fan Night, the game of the week presented by APM Music on Twitch.tv. Second and 9 at the 5. Again, coming up after the broadcast, Marcus Dunhill's interview on YouTube. Backups are in for Carolina, and they pick up a first down anyway. Shout out to Jarrett Grimes.
Wow, terrific play there by the bench player, able to come in with starting to run in his own end zone and to come across and get looks like 15 yards there. Took Afalabi, who has had a really good game. Probably his best game of the season, Afalabi, but of course this lopsided score, it's really not indicative of this wasn't a lopsided game. The score is going to show that it looked like it was a blowout, but it certainly wasn't. And Carolina really didn't have control of this game until a good portion of the second half.
Hand off to Grimes. Timeout St. Louis. One more first down. We'll end it, Stephen. We've been on the air less than an hour and a half.
Nice.
In one of the fastest games in league history, and it's just flown by. And I tell you, watching this Carolina team has been a thing of beauty tonight, honestly, exceeding expectations. You can't say anything negative about them.
No, and it really didn't come to life, Cam, until the end of that second quarter. So, we saw a really more conservative game plan from them initially, but when they opened up this offense and became balanced, they have just ran away from this game, in this game from that point on.
I think it gave them a lot of confidence, too, because now it was kind of like, we can do it. We can pass against them. And I think that gave them a lot of pep and hope for the second half. Third down and 5. This can end the game with a first down run here from Jarrett Grimes. And he'll take the handoff, running right. Grimes is not going to get that first down, not even close. Good job by St. Louis's defense. That's Anderson and Carter Cannon, and that'll force a punt from Carolina.
This Skyhawks team, to me, Cam, seems like one that's really built to play with the lead. And that initially, when they started this game and through the first quarter there, it's tied 3-3, and both teams seemed like they were feeling each other out and what worked, what didn't work, and Carolina's coaches really just solved it before St. Louis's coaching staff could and opened up this offense and allowed Mullenax to do his thing, and boy, did he do it tonight.
This may be for the SFL Blitz. Great stat from Mike Daggs. Carolina's scoring in Week 1, 24 points, Week 2, 23 points, Week 3, 24 points, and Week 4, 23 points. Steven, when was the last time the SFL had a team win 4 straight games when not scoring over 24 points? I mean, that's very unusual.
Yeah, it certainly helps when you have the 5th scoring defense in the SFL that's limiting your opponents to just over 16 points a game. So as long as you have a defense, they could average 17 points a game and still be 4-0. As long as the defense held the other one to 16 or – oh, there we go.
A Seals pass caught by Cody Scott. That's a touchdown, St. Louis, in garbage time, but a touchdown nonetheless, and Cody Scott gives St. Louis a little bit of something to go on heading into Week 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If I'm Cody Scott, I'm not celebrating that at all. It's going to count. It's going to be on the stat sheet, but this is against the second-team defense here. And
Eugene Barker, who I've not said all season.
And you clearly have lost this game, and you're trying to save maybe a little face here, but celebrating in your own end zone. As you can see, he was the only one doing it.
Well, Cody Scott's in the chat. Loves it nonetheless. Touchdowns are touchdowns for these players. And Scott got him one. Doesn't matter when, he got him one. And with 49 seconds to go, it is a 2-score game, I suppose, Stephen. They technically, until Carolina recovers the onside kick, they do, in fact, still have a chance.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from Cody Scott. Clearly, he's been their biggest receiving threat of the game. But it's just at this point in the game, flexing at the on the end zone. It's such a Terrell Owens type move. You know what I mean? If Scott goes to the Hall of Fame, he's probably not going to come to the ceremony.
He says, "Well, thanks for crushing my dreams." 49 seconds to go in the 4th. Look at this reversal of field here, and it's still recovered by Carolina. Nifty little onside kick there, but hey, Eugene Barker recovers the onside kick in a twist of fate for the strong safety to put the game away.
Looks like we found our game MVP. Barker doing everything here to put the Gladiators away. But again, for Carolina, they're going to start off 4-0 for the first time in franchise history. This is a group that has struggled, never posted a record better than 5-7, Cam, and I know that we still have a lot of seasons to go, but just based upon what we've seen from them tonight and the balance they've achieved, both on offense and on defense, it's hard not to believe that they're going to exceed 5-7 this season.
There's a matchup with the Tallahassee Pride on the schedule. It is lingering. 2 unbeatens in a rivalry game. Oh, man. I couldn't even imagine, but we got a lot of football to play till we get there. The SFL Blitz will have your recap of the week on YouTube later this week. Hopefully not 30 minutes before game time or at halftime. But we'll get that out as soon as possible and have a lot of fun doing that. That's the ball game, 23-10. What a performance from the Carolina Skyhawks for the first time in franchise history. The Skyhawks are 3-4-0. Final stats, 345 yards of offense, very balanced. St. Louis did put up 310, but got a lot on that last score. No turnovers for Carolina. They keep a clean sheet tonight.
And that's tough against, a Gladiators defense that has just been causing turnover after turnover after turnover. I mean, this is a group that is regularly taking away the ball from opposing offenses. And tonight, Mullenax able to stay clean against one of the fiercest secondaries in the SFL. But I don't want to undermine the fact that this was St. Louis's first away game of the season. And so, no home cooking. You don't get to sleep in your own bed. That plays a part in how you feel there on the field and how you play. And tonight, clearly, the Gladiators just didn't have the mojo that we've seen them have earlier in the season. But for them, they faced a red-hot Carolina group and lost at home. There's no shame in that. And they should be able to pick themselves up and and have a lot to build on for the rest of their season. As far as the Skyhawks are concerned, after a bit of a slow start in this game, we finally saw, really, I think, starting in that late second quarter, what has made this an undefeated team. A real good, balanced offense with Mullenax staying efficient, staying away, from those interceptions. And can you say enough about A.J. Francis and the stalwart that he is in the backfield? Really the heart and soul of this offense.
Final highlights running through. Cody Scott ends up with 129 yards and a touchdown, the top receiver tonight. So there is that honor for Cody Scott. The player of the game, look at that. Man, he should have how is that not a perfect QBR? 20 of 23. 213 yards, averaging almost 10 yards an attempt. 2 touchdowns, no picks, a 134.2 QBR. Certainly putting himself in the conversation for the GOAT, Spy GOAT of Week 4. Well, that about wraps it up from David A. Richardson Memorial Stadium. Wave goodbye to the Cam. For Mark Lopez on stats, doing a tremendous job. Stephen Mullenax, my #1 analyst in the booth and in my heart. And yours truly, Cameron Irvine. Good night from Raleigh.
Gilly.